Good morning, I'm Julie from the New Lighter Life, and it's early-ish in the morning. I wish I was out here a little bit earlier. I'm just sitting on my back deck enjoying a little cup of coffee, but I have a project today that I'm excited about, and I need to get it done. Honestly, I feel like I shoot from the hip, or I shoot first and aim later. And I've talked a little bit when I gave you my garden tour. I talked about my Alpine strawberries, and I love them. I ordered 3 different varieties of seed last year from Etsy, and I started my strawberries, almost all of them except for one plant that I showed in my garden tour. I started them from seed. One variety specifically took off better, and that was Rene Devay. I'll put what the actual name is. I don't speak French, so any of you French speaking people will go, no, that's not how you say it, honey. So I've got that variety. It took off like a weed. My seeds all started so good, and I planted a bunch of them in the garden, and they are prolific. Like, they are huge. But one thing, I've actually never grown strawberries before. So this is really like my learning year. The plants just shot out so many blossoms, and I've read enough, at least enough to get in trouble, to know that you are supposed to pick those blossoms and let the plant put energy into growing a good root system. And so I picked blossoms. I'd go out there every couple days, and I couldn't keep up with the blossoms, honestly. And at one point I just thought, this is insanity. I can't pick any more of these. I'm just gonna let them go. So I did. We've been enjoying those strawberries for probably about a month. They started producing fairly early, and they have just knocked our socks off as far as production. But I'm going to show you a picture that I took. I cut one open so you can kind of see the density inside the strawberry and what I'm going to tell you about it. So you can see inside that strawberry, there's not a whole lot of substance. They're not substantial like you would normally see in a strawberry. These Alpine strawberries, I think they've kind of been developed a little bit. They're an heirloom strawberry. They've been around, I guess in my research trying to figure out what I was going to do, it's like 300 years. These are an heirloom. They're so fragrant. They have such good flavor, but they aren't really a strawberry you would use in pie or strawberry shortcake. They just don't have substance. They really don't keep very well. So I had picked some and put them in the fridge, and by the next day they're just really sad. They just don't retain their qualities. They have to really be eaten off the vine. I've actually even found that if I rinse them off, they're kind of sad. They lose some of their flavor. I don't know. If you pick them and you pop them in your mouth, they're a great little dessert at the end of the day, but definitely not a strawberry we're used to. So while I love those Alpine strawberries, they're not really meeting all of what I had wanted out of strawberries. And I don't want to get rid of them because they do taste so good. In my garden tour, I took you around most of our yard area, we have a very small yard. I will say definitely, it's not even like a quarter of an acre. I mean, it's tiny. And so I showed some of my beds. Some of them are really lacking. One side yard gets a lot of light. I'm growing my forgotten garden is over there. But then on the other side of the yard, it gets a lot of shade. There's a side garden plot area there. And I really haven't planted anything over there but ground cover, because I knew that would at least survive in the shade. I'm glad I did the garden tour, because it made me really start to think through some of the problems that I have that I want to address right away. And so as I was reading up on my Alpine strawberries, I came across information that says that, yeah, you actually can plant them in shade, and they're a good order, because I don't want to get rid of them. They are a good treat. They're beautiful. They're producers, and they're just a nice reward for being out in the garden. So what I've decided to do today is I'm going to amend the soil on my side bed, because really I just think it's depleted. I might put some sand in there because I know strawberries prefer well draining soil, and so if I need to lighten it up, it seems pretty light to me, but that just could be because it's depleted and just pretty much ignored. So my plan, I'm going to add some worm castings to the bed. So I got these from our greenhouse here. I'm going to add these to the bed that I'm going to transplant the strawberries, my Alpine strawberries. Now, you might be wondering, what the heck are you doing? Why are you transplanting them now? Well, I ordered some strawberry plants. I know, here we are. It's like the first week in September. I ordered strawberry plants because I want strawberries next year. I want American, substantial strawberries, not just these amazing little flavor pockets that are air. They're just, so I ordered, the variety I ordered is Albion. I read a lot. I probably researched too much on what varieties are best. I wanted an everbearing. The Alpine strawberries are everbearing, and the Albion, the ones that I ordered, the Americanized, are also everbearing. So I want to have strawberries all summer long. And I read about different varieties and, just flavor and sweetness. There's things you can do to strawberries to affect sweetness, but I'm not even that far. I just need these things to survive. So they're coming in, I think they're coming in like a week, but I know I'm busy. And so I would just want to make sure that when they come in, I've got room in my old strawberry bed to plant these new strawberries and hopefully get a decent enough root system that they're going to make it. I have strawberries out there that I'm going to harvest today, and I'm going to save some of those seeds. So if I need to, I'll be able to start more if they die. And I'll know that next summer I'm going to have strawberries, so it's really not a big concern. So I have a couple of things. First, I'm going to prepare my new bed, my side garden, by amending that soil, getting it all ready to get my alpines transferred over. I'm going to pull my plants, pick the berries off, then I'm going to go ahead and plant them on my side bed. I hope I get through this whole process. It'll be interesting because it's supposed to be like 95 today, and I should have been up earlier. I was up earlier. I should have been out here earlier doing this, but you do the best you can. So that is my plan for today. I have some things to do in the house later, so I'm hoping by the time the heat of the day comes, I'll be inside and doing my other projects. Like, I have something going on with my daughter. And so one final thought before I get started. So we are mid-September. By the time I plant my new strawberries, we'll be mid-September. I read reviews and people did say that they planted them. I mean, it was crazy late when they planted them, and they did great. So, and this was in the north, the one review I remember reading about it. So you never know. Sometimes reviews, you just have to try it out, and then you go, oh, you lied. But I'm hopeful. I'm thinking positive that is the case. However, I was also thinking I might just cover them. I might do a low tunnel covering them. I might move some of my plants around. I don't know. So I'm thinking through that if we do get an early freeze. I don't want to have to rebuy these plants next year. I would like to potentially be able to have strawberries next year, but ultimately I know I need to be patient. And so that's my plan. Our first frost date is mid-October. So I've only got, a month of these being in the ground. I'm hoping it will be enough, or I will do some kind of cover to hopefully keep them alive long enough to make it through the winter. So that's my plan, guys. So that was a bit more than I bargained for. I forgot that the previous homeowners loved rocks, or the people before them loved rocks in the flower beds. And so as I started digging, obviously I saw there's a lot of quartz rocks in there, and they're compacted down. I really thought this bed was pretty much dead because there's really not anything. I haven't been able to really grow anything over here. Admittedly, I haven't really tried, but I found some worms in there. There were some bulbs that had never come up, so I'm encouraged by that. It was really hard in some spots, so I thought I'm just gonna add some sand to it. I added my worm castings, and so it's not perfect. I'll show you my little rock pile here at the end. I hate those rocks. I hate them. Every house we've ever owned, we've had to get rid of rocks out of the flower beds or garden beds, whatever. So it's just how it is. I've never bought one without rocks in there. I know there's a purpose, but they're just not my preference. So anyway, I'm going to go now. It's starting to warm up out here. It's hot. I even, obviously had to get the pickaxe out because it's really compacted down there. So I'm pleased. I'm going to put them all in here. I do think I'm going to do a different edge here and maybe build up the soil more, do more like a raised bed, but that will be next year earliest. I had gotten some tin edging on my other side of the house where I have my forgotten garden, and that's, I think, 12-inch tin edging, and so I'd eventually like to replace these. These are really old edging, so I'm just really trying to keep my Alpine strawberries alive while I plant my new strawberries coming in. And then we'll get to this later, but this is like my makeshift fix-it because I ordered them, and we'll see how they do. There is my pile of rock. I didn't even get an eighth of what's in there, but that's it. That's my pile. Ugh, I hate rock. I've decided to just work in batches and see how far I get. I might leave some over there just in case my new strawberries don't make it. But one thing I noticed as I was digging them up, there are a lot of worms in that bed, and the soil was really sandy, so I decided to just add a little bit more sand over here. I'm bringing some worms with some of these. I'm going to pick off all the fruit, all the blossoms, all the unripe fruit, and I'm just gonna try to minimize the stress as much as possible, and hopefully these will take off. So I'm gonna just go through that process and work in batches, and we'll see what happens. I think this is gonna work. I'm hopeful. And I also just wanted to say, I plan, when I empty my potato tubs, all the soil that's in there, I'm gonna put it over here. I just need to research and see if there's anything, with companion planting or anything that might spread as far as disease or parasites or anything that might come over into this bed and harm these strawberries. So that's my plan. We'll see how it goes. So that's the fruit that's ripe, and you can tell it's ripe. It's just, if you pull on it lightly, they come off. Like when they're not ripe, you really have to tug. And so that's how you can tell. I'm gonna tear off all these blossoms. So as I'm sitting here doing this, I'm just thinking, I grew these from seed. Like, I don't know if that amazes any of you, but I grew this from seed, and I mean, these things are crazy. Okay, this, yeah, they're just shooting off all these other plants. Like, I don't know if all this other stuff is in the way and you can't really see, but this came off of this mother plant. I have another one. I actually had read that these don't really throw runners, but clearly they do. So there's 1, 2, actually that could even be 2 there. It's probably more than that. I think I see like 6 just in that. You know, here's another one with a bunch on there. So these were started just seed in my basement. I am so happy with them, and I really hope they make it. But one thing I know is if they don't make it over here, that I can start some more. Changed my plan while I was doing this whole process. I decided to just move part of my Alpine strawberry bed over to the shade. Here we are, it's almost, I think it's the middle of the day. I actually don't know what time it is. I think it's noon, I'm not sure. But you can see there's really, it's just indirect sunlight. It's a lot of shade over here. So what I was thinking was I would just stop where I was at with moving my strawberries, and I'm going to, I still have quite a few over there. I'll show you real quick what I have left over in my old bed. So here you can see there are just so many plants even left. So I have plenty to experiment with, to give away. Next year I will do a bigger soaker hose that will cover more of the bed. There are some dry patches in there. But this is what I had left, and you saw what was over there. I really don't know if they're gonna make it. Those strawberries in my other patch are producing. We're still able to enjoy them. My other strawberries aren't here yet, though Americanized. I'm sure I'm using a wrong term, but those ones aren't here yet. And I think I have room over there to plant them. So I moved over just some of the strawberries and watered them really good. We're gonna see how they do in the shade. I do have room in my front bed, and my front bed is a mess. I actually cut it out from my garden tour because it looks so terrible. But my front bed is a mess, which is funny because that's like the first thing people see when they come to your house. But I just can only do so much, and I want to do it right. So I haven't really addressed the front a whole lot. But I can move some of those strawberry plants to the front if these just don't show like or look like they're doing good after a week or so. I don't know. Or I can give those as gifts, or I can just let them sit till next year. I think I have a lot of flexibility, but I have room. I believe I have room for my new strawberries coming in. And so that is it. I know it changed as I went through. This bed was a mess, a bigger mess than I thought. I should have known there were rocks deeper in there. I hate rocks, but if you love them, more power to you. I do not like rocks in my beds. So I'm gonna see how these do. And I did leave this portion here. Actually, let me turn this around. I have a little more space. I can plant some more until I can get rid of these rocks. Oh, my nemesis. I'm thinking about, I have some strawberries that I've saved seed for. I was thinking about maybe showing you guys how to do that. If you have Alpines, I believe it works for all strawberries, but I know for sure it works for Alpine strawberries. I don't know why it wouldn't, as long as your strawberries are organic and they're not sprayed to prohibit any kind of growth or reproduction. So I was thinking about doing a video showing how to save the strawberry seed, how to plant it, but I also was thinking, well, maybe you guys want some of these seeds, and so if you guys would be interested in me doing a giveaway, I'm not sure what that would look like, but if you're interested in some Alpine strawberry seeds, René Devay, I don't know how to speak French, that is my poor attempt, but if you would like that variety and that's something you're interested in, please comment, let me know. I'm open to doing that and happy to send out some seeds, and just let me know. So thank you guys for joining me today.